Good morning, everybody. Shalom. We're in Luke 17 this morning. Thank you for being here. The morning that you are watching this, we will be beginning the last day of our first deployment to Bethany House for Grindstone Ministries. Please continue to keep us in prayer. And I'm really looking forward to reporting back off of that site how the Father has worked. Right now, I am 4 days away from being on site there to begin to prepare for the arrival of dozens of people from Canada down to Texas and from California east to Florida. All of North America. Well, we don't have any Mexico nationals coming that I know of. Most of North America is deploying for this. That's super cool. And for me, it's like a family reunion of sorts as well, because I get to meet people that I've not met before, and I get to see people that I have met before, whom I love, that we don't get to hang out all that often. And so it's, yeah, just keep us in prayer. Thank you. Details for the summer and fall deployments will be forthcoming soon. You can sign up for the missions email blast at bearindependent.com, and you can check out grindstoneministries.com to donate for missions information, for our needs list, yada, yada, yada. So thank you to everybody who supports us in doing this. Grindstone exists to serve the Father's kingdom in times of chaos. Boy, I could go down a rabbit hole right there. But thank you for helping us help other people. I really appreciate it. Luke 17. We just came off of a freaking awesome parable found nowhere but in the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke. And this is the story of Lazarus and the bosom of Abraham. Abraham said to him, "They have Moshe and the prophets, let them hear them." And Lazarus said, "No, Father Abraham, but if someone from the dead goes to them, they shall repent." But he said, "If they do not hear Moshe and the prophets, neither would they be persuaded, even if one should rise from the dead." This is Yeshua speaking. Could he make it more clear? If you do not hear the Torah and the prophets, you will not be persuaded, even by the rising of one from the dead. Do you not see the prophecy in that? And we harped on that last week. Oh, gosh. Congestion-y, head coldy, no major issues. Just, got a little bleh right in this area. Chapter 17. And he, Yeshua, said to his taught ones, "It is inevitable that stumbling blocks should come. But woe to him through whom they come. It would be better for him if a millstone is put around his neck and he were thrown into the sea, than that he should cause one of these little ones to stumble." Meaning, it is inevitable that stumbling blocks come. There will be trial and tribulation. Things will trip you up, but it would be better for me to throw you into the sea with a giant rock tied around your neck and you can't swim, than for you to trip your brother up. Whew. Boy, we gotta really on board that. It doesn't even need explanation. The teaching is obvious there. we are not to be a stumbling block to each other. The Hebrews weren't very good at swimming. It's one of the many reasons they feared the sea. It's why the Sea of Reeds, not the splitting of the Red Sea, but the Sea of Reeds, when the Father creates this land bridge across the Sea of Reeds, that, that'd be funny. Hey man, did you say the Sea of Weeds? That sounds like a good sea, man. It's pretty medicinal. You could use it for a lot of stuff. And I know, yes, you could. But no, not the Sea of Weeds. The Sea of Reeds. Anyway, that land bridge was truly miraculous. But especially in the eyes of the Hebrews, they can't swim. To see land open up in the midst of the sea, talk about a miracle. Right, so these people, they were a desert people. They didn't swim. Swim in what? Sand? There was no swimming, okay? So, in fact, nowadays, and there has been for a long time as I understand it, a father, according to the Talmud, the Jewish oral traditions, which, FYI, I am not Jewish. I hate religion, including Judaism and Christianity. I am a believer in Messiah, and I believe in the divinity and inerrancy of this word, and I do what it says. And so the Jews don't like me, the Christians don't like me, the Muslims don't like me, the Mormons have a hard time with me, the Catholics definitely don't like me because they're a bunch of costume-wearing wizards, and I don't care. But the Jews have an oral tradition that a father is required to teach his son 3 things: the Torah, the family business, and how to swim. Because these people didn't swim. And they realized over 4,000, 5,000, 7,000 years, hey, we should learn how to swim. This has been kind of an issue for us for, since Uncle Maury 6,000 years ago. Come here, Mordecai. Chaim's going to teach you how to swim. All right, thanks. Sounds good. So, it would be better for you to be chucked into the ocean with a 700-pound rock tied to your neck than it would be for you to be a stumbling block to your brother. And I managed to burn 8 minutes on something that doesn't need an explanation. Apologies. Take heed to yourselves. If your brother sins against you, rebuke him. And if he repents, forgive him. Okay. I've got a note in my Bible that says Leviticus 19, verse 17, rather. So let's flip there. Do not hate your brother in your heart. Reprove your neighbor for certain and bear no sin because of him. I hear people. I hear a dog. Sounds like a dog and a mom. And if he sins against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day comes back to you saying, I repent, you shall forgive him. Clear. And if he sins against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day comes back to you saying, I repent, you shall forgive him. Good morning, dog. And the emissaries said to the master, give us more belief. We want to believe even more. And Yeshua said, if you have belief as a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, be pulled up by the roots and be planted in the sea, and it would obey you. What are you doing, dog? Oh, good morning, mother. This dog is your advanced party. He's always coming and reconning before you come down the hallway. Good job, dog. But who of you, having a servant, plowing or shepherding, would say to him, when he has come in from the field, come immediately and sit down to eat? But would he not rather say to him, prepare somewhat for my supper, and gird yourself and serve me while I eat and drink, and afterward you shall eat and drink? Would he thank that servant because he did what he was commanded? I think not. So also, when you have done all that you were commanded, say, we are unworthy servants, we have done what it was our duty to do. There's a good teaching in there. Just because you're commanded to do things, which we are, doesn't make us worthy to come into the house of Elohim. And there's an interesting point here. Yeshua is the mediator of this renewed covenant between ourselves and the Most High. We come to Yeshua. Well, I can show you. 1 Peter 2, verse 21. I just went over this last night and just read this on the podcast a week ago. Probably 2 weeks ago now when you see this. Yes, there's a podcast. Check iTunes. It's also available for streaming on bearindependent.com. For this you were called, because Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who committed no sin, nor was deceit found in his mouth, who being reviled did not revile in return, suffering did not threaten, but committed himself to him who judges righteously, who himself bore our sins in his body on the timber, so that we, having died to sins, might live unto righteousness, by whose stripes you were healed. For you were like sheep going astray, but have now returned to the shepherd and overseer of your souls. So why were we called to Messiah, who suffered for us, leaving us an example, so that you should follow in his steps? Whose steps? Messiah's steps. Who committed no sin, so you should commit no sin. Nor was deceit found in his mouth, nor should it be found in yours. Who when he was reviled hated, did not hate in return. When he suffered, did not threaten, but committed himself to him who judges righteously, as we should. Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim, who himself bore our sins. 1 John 3:4. Sin is lawlessness. Who himself bore our lawlessness in his body on the timber, so that we, having died to our lawlessness, might live unto righteousness. What is righteousness? Luke 1 verse 6, blamelessly walking in all the commands of Yahuwah our Elohim. So we were dead to our lawlessness, but now we might live unto righteousness, unto blamelessly walking in the commands, by whose stripes you were healed, Yeshua. For you were like sheep going astray. You were off the mark. We all were. I was. But now have returned to the shepherd and overseer of your beings, of your souls. So why were we called to Yeshua? To walk in his steps, so that we do not die to our lawlessness, but instead walk in righteousness, and to commit ourselves to Elohim. Copy that. Cappy. So, balanced by, back to Luke 17, verse 10. So also you, when you have done all that you were commanded, say, we are unworthy servants, we have done what was our duty to do. Indeed, we've committed ourselves to Elohim. We are servants of the Most High, our living Creator. We come back to him through Yeshua, which is the renewed covenant. Hebrews 8:6 through 8:10. We're still servants. We're still unworthy. There's not a thing that I can do, that's going to erase my past transgressions. There's not a thing that I can do that will cause me to perfectly walk in the ways of Yahuwah or Elohim from now until the day that I die. You cannot earn your way into the kingdom. That's why we have Yeshua. We are covered by his atoning sacrifice. We need to remember that. Just as James taught, because see, we're here, we're going here. We're going to go back to James chapter 2 and 2:17, page 1180 in the scriptures. So also belief, if it does not have works, is dead in of itself. But someone might say, you have belief and I have works. Show me your belief without your works, and I shall show you my belief by my works. You believe that Elohim is one, which is Deuteronomy 6:4, which is the Shema, called the holiest prayer in all of Scripture. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah is our God. Yahuwah is one. You do well. The demons also believe and shudder. But do you wish to know, O foolish man, that belief without the works is dead? Was not Abraham our father declared right by works when he offered Isaac his son on the slaughter place? Do you see that the belief was working with his works, and by the works the belief was perfected? And the scripture was filled, which says, Abraham believed Elohim, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. And he called him he who loves Elohim. You see then that a man is declared right by works and not by belief alone. In the same way, was not Rahab the whore also declared right by works when she received the messengers and sent them out another way? For as the body without the spirit is dead, so also the belief is dead without the works. So we do the works. We keep the commands, not because we're saved by the keeping of the commands, but because they are a fruit of our belief, our deep conviction to serve Yahuwah, our Elohim. Can I get it? Oh, there, I got it. To serve Yahuwah, our Elohim, as he sees fit. And so it's this incredible balance of grace and obedience. It cannot be one and not the other. If it's nothing but obedience, you end up with the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, the high priests, the legalists, the people that Yeshua railed against, that you have made a religion out of my Father's perfect law. And I hate it. That's the obedience side of things. And again, we are not saved by works. By grace through faith we are saved. Well, that brings us to the grace side of things. The grace of Yeshua Messiah, his atoning sacrifice, covered by his sins. But shall we sin all the more so that grace may abound? No, God forbid. Those are the words of Paul. So we don't abuse the grace. And the obedience is not the thing that saves us. But that doesn't mean that we don't use the grace when we need it, because we're humans and we mess up. But we should use as much obedience as possible so that we don't mess up, so that we become better humans. This is one of the things that I loathe about the modern church, is that we meet people where they are at, and then we keep them there. It's okay. You're a broken sinner. We're all broken sinners. But I want to be less broken tomorrow than I am today. If we don't walk with our Messiah daily, if we treat faith as a destination, not a journey, we are dead to our sins. The Torah, says Psalms, is the perfect tool for refining the soul. What is the Torah? It literally means instruction. It's the thing that Yeshua came to embody in Matthew 5:17, to show us how to do this. Okay? We just saw in 1 Peter 2, so that we might walk in his steps, so that we can do these things right. Not because we're going to earn our way into heaven, but because the Father created us to do these things, to live and walk and work these things in this way. All the while understanding that you can't earn your way into heaven. It's belief. It's belief in Yeshua by grace through faith. But that faith should be so much so more than the simple mental acknowledgement that, yeah, Jesus is the Christ. Cool. Well, we just saw in James, even the demons know that, but they shudder. They shudder. They have a physical reaction when they acknowledge that. Do you have a physical reaction when you acknowledge your Messiah and your Creator? If the answer is no, the depth of your faith is more shallow than those of the demons of hell. Right? And so that is the beautiful dichotomy, push-pull between obedience and grace. There's a reason I have a sign that hangs on my gate that says, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Obedience and grace. It's both. It's the whole Bible, not the first part or the second part. It's all of it. And so, yes, we are servants of the kingdom. Getting back to Luke 17, verse 10. We are servants of the kingdom. And in being in service to the kingdom, that in no way, yeah, I'm good to go. No, none of us is good to go. Without Yeshua, none of us is good to go. And it's important to understand that what Yeshua does is atones for our sins, sacrifices himself in our stead to remove that sin, to give us the covering of blood, so that we can come unto the Father, return to Elohim. Hebrews 8:6 says Yeshua is the mediator of the renewed covenant. He's the go-between. He gets us back to Yahuwah or Elohim. When we get back to Yah, what are we to do? If you love me, keep my commands. Diligently obey the voice of Yahuwah, your Elohim. Why? Because it's a proof of your belief, as we just saw in James. And it came to be, as he, Yeshua, went to Yerushalayim, to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Shomaron, Samaria, the Good Samaritan, and Galilee. There's a good rifle right there. Assault weapon, whatever. And as he was entering into a certain village, he was met by 10 leprous men who stood at a distance. Good policy. And they lifted up their voices, saying, Yeshua, Master, have compassion on us. And seeing them, he said to them, Go, show yourselves to the priests. And it came to be that as they were going, they were cleansed. And one of them, who saw that he was healed, returned, praising Elohim with a loud voice. And he fell down upon his face at his feet, at Yeshua's feet, giving thanks to him. And he was a Shomaroni. He was a Samaritan. The Jews and the Samaritans hated each other's guts. The Yehudim, the Jews, would go around Samaria rather than through it. They did not like each other when they were traveling. And that's why the story of the Good Samaritan is so powerful, because all these Hebrew brethren kept passing by this guy laying in the street destitute. He just got mugged. And they're like, yeah, y'all take care of him. They weren't loving their brother as themselves. And then this Samaritan comes along who had no earthly reason to have compassion upon a Hebrew, and he rescues the guy, and he puts him up in an inn with his own money, and he, hey, whatever this guy needs, it's on my bill, take care of him, okay? That's the value in the Good Samaritan, is that our responsibility to each other as brethren supersedes our nationality, our race. The fact that I don't like you or you don't like me doesn't matter. You're my brother. Yeah. That's the teaching of the Good Samaritan. And so here, again, the point that's being made by this guy being a Samaritan is that this guy is not one of the Father's chosen people, the Jews, which at this point were wearing that mantle inappropriately, says me, because, we can read in Hebrews. The Father concluded his covenant with them because they did not follow in his ways, which is why Yeshua is railing against them constantly, going, you hypocrites, do you not see that you are supposed to do these things and you're not? Right? You hypocrites, you tithe the mint and the rue, but you ignore the weightier issues of the Torah, including the right ruling and the love of Elohim. You've made a religion out of how much mint, how much rue, but you don't have the love of Yahweh in your heart. You don't understand the right ruling per this Torah that, hey, we're supposed to do these things. We're supposed to have love for our brothers. We're supposed to love our neighbor as ourselves. We're supposed to love Yah with everything we've got. You're ignoring all of that, but you know, one more sprinkle of rue, and we will have met the legalistic requirements of Judaism. Boy, I'm on tangents this morning. I apologize. And now I'm thinking about the Galil assault rifle. This is what you get. The good news is there's no admission cost. So you get what you pay for. So this guy who returns and gives thanks out of the 10 is a Samaritan, a Shomaroni. And Yeshua answering said, were there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? Where are your other bros? Was no one found to return to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? And he said, rise, go on your way. Your belief has made you well. First of all, man, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so let's start with this. We just talked about the significance of it being a Shomaroni, a Samaritan, right? So Yeshua heals this guy, okay? And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, returned praising Elohim with a loud voice. And he fell down upon his face and his feet, giving thanks to him, Yeshua. Praising Elohim, thanking Yeshua. Shema Yisrael, Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah is our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Wait a minute. Elohim, Yeshua. How can they be one? Elohim, Yeshua, one. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. How's that possible? Yahuwah Elohim, Yeshua, Ruach HaKodesh, Holy Spirit, Echad, one. So, yet another facet. Good morning, Lavi. Did you have a good sleep?
Yeah.
You did? Where's your sister?
Oh, she's still sleeping.
She's still sleeping?
Yeah.
Where's your Bubba?
Oh, he's still sleeping as well.
He's still sleeping as well?
Yeah.
Oh. Do I need to pause this and get this set up for you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right there. The toddler says good morning. So, in addition to the significance of the Shomaroni here, the Samaritan, we have a reaffirmation of Echad. Yeshua is one. This is my beloved son in whom I delight, right? We also have, if you flip to Leviticus 13, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus 13, boom, right there. Leviticus 13. This is the Torah for leprosy, all of Leviticus 13, and it's a long chapter, which we've covered before here.
Dad,
Yes.
I got my fishing rod.
You got a fishing pole? Okay, I'll be right there. Okay. And the priest shall look on the infection of the skin of the body and blah, 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 pronounce him clean or unclean. If it's a bright white spot, shut up the infected one for 7 days. And then after 7 days, the priest shall look a day. And again, and if it's still gone, he'll shut him up for another 7 days. And after that, so by the time this is all said and done, we may have been dealing with this thing, this leprosy, the priest inspecting this leprosy for 7, 14, 21 days. Okay, and so when Yeshua says, go show yourself to the priest, it's to show the priest that they have been healed of their leprosy. But not only that, in the natural course of this thing, it could be 7, 14, 21 days or longer, based upon the Levitical pronouncements, instruction on how to deal with this. Leviticus 13, it's a long chapter. This could take weeks. Now, we don't know how long these 10 guys have been standing outside, but I do know that Yeshua, rather than letting this thing take weeks, was like, boom, go show yourself to the priest. So that to me is a reaffirmation, a continued affirmation of Yeshua's sovereignty over all, including our bodies. And then, what does he say? Your belief in Elohim has healed you. Right? Rise, go your way. Your belief has made you well. Was no one found to return to give praise to Elohim except this foreigner? And he, Yeshua, said to him, rise, go your way. Your belief has made you well. That's awesome. There's a lot of meat in that one little section right there. I'm going to get the toddler set up. I'll be right back. And we will begin at Luke 17, verse 20. All right, YouTube, and we're back. If you hear the sound of Paw Patrol in the background, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Luke 17, verse 20. And having been asked by the Pharisees when the reign of Elohim, the kingdom of heaven, would come, he, Yeshua, answered them and said, the reign of Elohim does not come with intent watching, nor shall they say, look here, or look there, for look, the reign of Elohim is in your midst. And he said to the taught ones, days shall come when you shall long to see one of the days of the son of Adam, but you shall not see it. And they shall say to you, look here, or look there. Do not go after them, nor follow. For as the lightning that flashes out of one part under heaven shines to the other part under heaven, so also the Son of Adam shall be in his day. But first, he has to suffer much and be rejected by this generation. And as it came to be in the days of Noah, so also shall it be in the days of the son of Adam. They were eating. This is prophetic. This is very similar to Matthew 24. So what he's saying is, hey, other people are going to come and say, hey, Messiah's over here. Messiah's over there. You will know when Messiah is here. It'll be like lightning stretching from one side of the sky to the other when Messiah is here. Do not go after those people, nor follow them. For as lightning that flashes out of one part under heaven shines to the other part of heaven, so also the Son of Adam shall be in his day. And as it came to be in the days of Noah, so too it shall be in the days of the sons of Adam. They were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah went into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Corrupted flesh. Noah. This gets back to the inclusivity, exclusivity. There's Yah's people and there's everybody else. And Yah's people is not a skin color or a nationality or a particular type of DNA. Israel literally means he who has overcome with El. He who has overcome with Elohim. That's you, that's me, that's Israel. It's not a nation state on a map or a skin color or a denomination. It's Israel, the Father's chosen people. But then there's everybody outside of that. And these people were just carrying on, eating, drinking, marrying, and then, boom, the flood came. They didn't listen. They just kept going about their business. They didn't listen. It's also important to understand that the remnant that was preserved was little. There were a lot of people on earth in the days of Noah. 7.5 billion? I don't know, but it was a lot more than 8. Because Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives were what was spared. The rest, not so much. And likewise, as it came to be in the days of Lot, they were eating, they were drinking, they were buying, they were selling, they were planting, and they were building. But on the day Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed all. And it shall be the same in the day that the Son of Adam is revealed. Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah, they were like, oh, hey, angels, let's, wow, I almost said a really bad word for the internet while reading the Bible. But basically, they wanted to gang rape angels. No wonder the Father destroyed that place. Are we there in society? You could easily make the argument that, boy, we're getting close. Boy, we're getting close. But on that day Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed all. It shall be the same in the day the Son of Adam is revealed. In that day, he who shall be on the housetop and his goods in the house, let him not come down to take them away. And likewise, the one who is in the field, let him not turn back. Remember the wife of Lot. Whoever seeks to save his life shall lose it. Whoever seeks to save his life shall lose it, and whoever loses his life shall preserve it. Hey, simmer down, child. Press the button. I say to you, in that night there shall be 2 in one bed, and one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. And they answering, said to him, Where, Master? And he said to them, Where the body is, there also vultures shall be gathered together. Body's going to be dead. It's a gathering of spirits. This is very reminiscent of Matthew 24. Remember the wife of Lot. Do not turn back to your wicked ways. There's a lot in that one small line. 5 words. Remember the wife of Lot. That might be the entirety of my takeaway for this passage of Scripture. Remember the wife of Lot. The Father tells you to go, you go. You don't turn back. You don't look over your shoulder. You don't reminisce about the sinful life that you were leading. Remember the wife of Lot. Thank you for letting me into your life each week. I really, really appreciate it. It means the world to me. It sounds weird, but I pray for y'all. And I know y'all pray for me, and I appreciate it. I really, really do. Thank you for supporting us in what we do, that we are able to do this and to go be the hands and feet of our Messiah and to prove the depth of our belief through our works and to visit blessings upon all peoples and to expand the kingdom of our Creator, to be able to look somebody in the eye when they say, why are you doing this? To be able to truthfully tell them, because Yahweh, your Elohim, the creator of the universe, tapped me on the shoulder and said, I got to come all the way over here to look you in the eye, to bless you in a way that you'll never be able to repay, so that you can know the depth of his love for you, so that we can meet your worldly needs, so that we can now have a conversation in context about your eternal needs. Let me introduce you to my Creator and the power in all of heaven and all of earth, and the authority over everything that you were fearfully and wonderfully created to wield. That an atoning sacrifice has been made for you to remove the burden of sin and death from you, to do away with the angst, the anxiety, the pain, the hurt, the self-loathing, the shame, the fear, the brokenness, and to put you back together better than you've ever been, so that you might serve the one true God, and as a byproduct experience his provision and blessing, and lead a fulfilled life, one of headship and leadership and stewardship, so that you can go and bless others and be an asset to the kingdom. And at the end of an age, when you stand in judgment, hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant." You guys and girls help me do that. And there aren't words for it other than thank you. Shalom.